Alright, welcome back everybody to Hercule Poirot's The First Cases. It's your favorite vampire, Eveline here. Now, if I recall, we finished up chapter 3. It was surprisingly a short chapter, but definitely a bit of a breather, given everything that's happened before. Now, to get everybody caught up on this, the Major's been murdered, and the murderer could still possibly be in the house. So now, we have to go chit-chat with everybody and see who's lying. Or in other words, who's the murderer. That's gonna take me getting some used to. I started playing on my Backbone controller recently, so my fingers are like, okay, so this one goes here, this one goes there. Yeah. Alright, so far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the guests in the room. So, let's begin, Miss Jackie.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
That is well said. That is well said.
What would you say to an
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Yeah, we got questions for you. You better tell me the truth, because if I find out you're lying, whoo, it ain't gonna be pretty.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
I probably should have done the library after. I don't know. I screwed up.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Mademoiselle Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Monsieur Beckers, but a hint at reading about it in the newspaper makes me believe it may be of a much grander nature than I expected.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far.
Get so comfortable.
Merci.
I probably shouldn't have talked the last bit, but that's typically... the typical response as soon as we're done. Margot!
Countess, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
She's not wrong.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Countess.
Well, it's at the top of mine, detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie. I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Oh yeah. He is an alcoholic. Another to notice Monsieur Demio's drinking, and yet no one seems concerned.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
I'm pretty sure Gideon's probably gonna say something about it.
Monsieur Demir, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
Hopefully.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Countess does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
So the Major apparently said something to Angeline that really upset her. Monsieur de Silva, Ernesto.
Monsieur de Silva, merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
Merci for your cooperation.
Of course.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Detective Poirot is perfect, merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot.
I'm pretty sure this guy's probably like, oh crap. Like, what have I gotten myself into?
I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising. And then I made my way to the library.
Well, you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants brought me a drink and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you and the servant.
Strange that he does not seem to recall seeing Monsieur de Silva in the library.
And you are sure there was no one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Detective. You were there.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
We can all already see all their statements like conflict each other. Zachariah! You handsome bastard. Ugh! I love this man. Again, I also love the fact that he made an appearance in the London case. Like, thank you, Microids, for including that. I do hope...
I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
Well, to complete my sentence, I do hope they include him in some other games, too. I do hope they continue, like, with Arthur Hastings, or at least do one more game. So, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm enjoying Murder on the Orient Express as well, which I'm also doing a playthrough. Yes, I'm alternating between my game playthroughs, but this is the only way that I can actually complete them.
So the Major was murdered?
Yes, he was. You handsome devil.
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to him.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
All right. Well, that's everybody. Everybody has been interrogated. So. Let's see, there are 6 links here. So
Pieces of the puzzle
Gideon
are
was present.
finally
He
coming
can actually
together.
confirm that he and the Comtesse were in the salon. However,
I must take
No.
a different approach if I am to
Okay.
uncover the truth.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. Move on to something else. We can at least confirm
Another
this.
success. I never doubted myself.
Jackie and Hugo confirm each other's appearance in the library. Jackie can confirm Ernesto was in the library.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
So, there we go. Now, according to Margot, Zachariah went missing. Oh,
Come, my little gray cells. We
yeah, no, we must think logically.
Some would say a
Gideon
lucky guess.
saw both
I
Zachariah
would say a
and
moment
and
of
Margot.
genius.
They confirm each other's appearance in the salon. Cool. But I'm starting to wonder. Oh, no, never mind. So there's at least 2 here. So we know Gideon was in the salon. Angeline's still upset about the altercation. Jackie and Ernesto can confirm each other's alibis. Hugo spoke with Jackie and, of course, he spoke with Poirot. But he can't necessarily confirm.
I
No.
cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look.
Okay. Oh? There's 2 more links here. No?
Is there something I am not?
No, of course not. Ah. Sorry, something. It felt like something just attacked me on my neck. Alright. So far, everybody is confirming their alibis. So. Oh, excuse me. Ah, shit. I didn't mean to do that.
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse.
Crap.
Magnifique.
Margot claims that Zechariah stepped out of the room, but Gideon did not mention it. Was his missing time accounted for?
Things are beginning to become clearer.
And Hugo failed to mention seeing Ernesto in the library. So now we need to talk to Hugo. We need to talk to Zechariah. Let's go chit-chat with Hugo first. Oh, Hugo! You have something for me, I know.
Whatever you require, Detective. I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
Apparently you are, because you didn't confirm Ernesto's appearance in the library.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
So why didn't you say so in the first place?
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Monsieur Beckers is courageous and full of vigor in his planning, but his execution does not share such confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
That it has. That it has. Picked up anything? Ah. So. No.
This will not get me any closer to my goal. Order and method. That is the way to solve the problem.
Of course. No.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the evidence in front of me. What a revelation!
Always go with your gut. Never, guess. Hugo and Ernesto now confirm each other's appearance in the library.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Hugo, Ernesto, and Jackie support each other's versions of events. Someone else must be responsible, surely. So... that means the three of them couldn't have committed the murder. And now we have dear Zechariah here.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
No, you're more than just an open book. I have a weakness for guys with really good facial hair, really good mustaches, well groomed, all that good stuff. I also have a preference for another type. I shouldn't be saying that loud on YouTube.
I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, Ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Alright, now we gotta go talk to old Archie. But first, let's see... No. I probably won't get it until after I talk to Archibald.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, Detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
So apparently Zachariah was a little bit more drunk than what he is now. Alright. So
Order
No.
and method. That is the way to solve the problem.
but I did talk to Archie. No.
Is there something I am not seeing? I must take a
No.
different approach if I am to uncover the truth.
Am I just not thinking right? Oh.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Archibald confirms Zachariah's movements out of the salon, however brief.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Gideon, Zachariah, and Margot were all in the salon, at least for some time altogether. Surely someone else is to blame. Even with some minute differences in stories, the guests all confirm each other's alibis. It is not the outcome I was expecting or perhaps hoping for. That's another mind map. Come, my little gray cells, let us solve this mystery. So, that did not yield the result I desired. Perhaps a more direct approach, considering their potential motives, will reveal more. Okay. We also have a new conversation unlocked. So, go ahead and start knocking it out the park.
You came to the right place. What do you need? I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
Well, yeah, even I could have made that more obvious.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
Mademoiselle Conrad is wise to the nature of this question. She knows exactly what and what not to say. This nut may be harder to crack than first expected.
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
A man suppressing his anger and a murdered body. The most amateur detective could see a connection.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
So, as she's talking to Hugo, she's convinced that it's him. I'm pretty sure she's convinced that it's him. And a lot of people make that connection too. Margot, you're next.
I am all yours, detective. I imagine she will have shed a tear for him. but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him.
I don't know who has the sharper tongue, Madame Von de Bush or the Comtesse. It is certainly a close race for first place. It definitely is. Comtesse has made it very clear she don't like the Major. Everybody else has made it very clear they don't like the Major. Which I don't blame him. Them. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Did you ever speak to the Major about how he treated Madame Von de Bush?
Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
Ooh.
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
Is it?
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Comtesse.
Wise thinking, detective.
You have explained that the Major was trying to remain close to the family, but not why.
He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Poirot, you sly dog. You sly dog. I'm actually and truly not surprised. Because throughout the stories, well, no, not throughout the stories, but through a lot of the, shit. I lost my train of thought. Give me about 5 seconds, I'll get it back. But in a lot of different depictions, it's always kind of him, like, being a bit of a ladies' man. Especially if you watch the Hercule Poirot TV series with David Suchet in it. I love that series so much. Anywho.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame Van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
The Comtesse has certainly opened my eyes to the Major's true ambitions with the Van de Bosch family. I wonder if Madame herself is aware of his greed and hunger for social recognition.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
We probably will have some further questions for her. I wouldn't be surprised. She seems a little sneaky. Well, not necessarily sneaky. Excuse me. Quack. Just quack. I'm known for making weird noises. Alright. Oh, nothing in the mind map. That's a shocker. Well, Jackie's got something else for me, but for right now, let's chit-chat with Gideon.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
With the joining of your two families and the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well?
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
I spoke with your brother earlier. He was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry. Only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
I don't know. I do not know how he could not have noticed the state his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe.
We aren't the closest, but what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
Oh no? There is clearly more to uncover here. I shall return to the matter when I have the fuel that is required to get the answers.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
It appears Monsieur's letter was at least written with noble intentions, but he is still hesitant to talk more on the Major's association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
So now we're starting to get into the real meat and potatoes of this. Because now, taking a more direct approach has got everybody falling apart. Ernesto!
More questions? I suppose so.
Always more questions. Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
The negative opinion of the Major is rather ubiquitous. I am yet to meet someone with a particularly positive view of him. Oh, excuse me.
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But in my honest opinion, De Silva could do a lot better. That woman's nothing but a bitch! Will drive you into the ground crazy. So I don't mean to, like, throw up a little.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
I don't know about that. Let's also not forget that this was like 1940s, 1950s. So, well, let's go with early 1900s to, crap. At least 1970s. Let's go up to that. But yeah. You said you talked with the Major a few times about what exactly?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
I don't know about that.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Both you and the Major have been very supportive of Madame von der Busch over the years, n'est-ce pas?
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
Yeah, because no offense, but she is way too old for you. She's a cranky old lady. You could do a lot better.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
I may need to approach this in a different manner. Perhaps I should speak with the Comtesse about this.
Merci for your cooperation.
Alright. Anything in the mind map? No. Hugo!
Whatever you require, Detective.
Yeah, I'm going down the list. It's just makes things a little easier for me.
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
You and a whole bunch of other people, bud. Don't worry about it.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Your connection to the family is through Monsieur Demir, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
You seem to hold a certain level of, shall we say, anger towards the Major.
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I barely mentioned the Major, and Monsieur Beckers became rather flustered and defensive. Beckers also mentioned something about having something on the Major, which I'm not surprised. So, are there plans for a negotiation with Monsieur da Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gédéon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them. Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
You barely see him in the snow. Huh. Alright. We have something so far. We have Hugo's frustration.
What a revelation!
But Hugo claims to have calmed down. So, in other words, Hugo has lied about his temper. Alright. So we still got blah blah blah. Not again. Zachariah, the Comtesse, and Jackie to speak to.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
You definitely are. Sorry. Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him, except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get the sense that you and Monsieur Gideon are not the closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
Perfectly.
There is certainly some hostility towards his brother. This runs much deeper than brotherly rivalry. Ugh. Why can I not talk today? Your relationship with your brother, it seems everyone has an opinion.
That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on your relationship.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now?
Monsieur has again mentioned his time in the war. While I do not mean to belittle his efforts for his country, it seems as though he has not been able to leave that life behind on the battlefield. No? No, because once you've been on the battlefield, there's no way you can leave that behind. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking as, like, a bit of my own family history. Literally, just about all the men in my family have gone into service. And yeah. Not gonna go any further than that. But I can say you can take a look at the veterans today. And yeah. Yeah, PTSD is a bitch. A very big bitch. And it haunts you for the rest of your life. What do you know of your brother's work with the Union?
If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union, why don't you ask him?
So, you are aware of his support for them?
Yes, well, he...
Oui, monsieur?
It'd be best to just ask him.
Monsieur either does not know much of what his brother does, or he is protecting him rather coyly.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Alright. So that definitely gave us a little more than what we were expecting. So, where's Sakura? Down here. No.
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse. Another success. I never doubted myself.
He claims not to be close to his brother, but still seeks to withhold information about him. Maybe deep down, Zachariah does still care about his brother. Which, I mean, if my sister was in the same boat, I would do the same thing. But this is like a completely different time period. Let's not forget that. This game is set in a completely different time period than what we're used to. Alright, Jackie. What you got for me?
You came to the right place. What do you need?
You seem to know a great deal about everyone. What can you tell me about Monsieur de Silva and Madame Van de Bosch?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
What are your thoughts on the Comtesse? I appreciate your opinion on her.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
I can only see the work at a women's shelter as positive, even if the reason to start came from a selfish place. The work they do cannot be scoffed at.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Okay, we did not get anything else. So, Margot!
I am all yours, detective.
I'm not gonna push on that just yet. What of Madame Von de Bush and Monsieur de Silva's relationship?
What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, detective, I am not one to gossip.
And yet, what were you doing earlier?
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Ha!
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth.
Ooh. I'm not sure that is exactly correct, but the Comtesse has made a bold attempt to justify her wagging tongue. That she has. That she has.
Why else do you think he would stay around for so long? Yes, he was a friend and partner to the Viscount, but it is plain to see it is Cassandra's partnership he longs for.
Okay. And now, to change the subject. This one's gonna be fun. Because it's one of those, again, we gotta work through.
Comtesse, you gave me the impression the Major and the Madame were close, but there were times where he acted rather aggressively to her, n'est-ce pas?
I am sorry, detective, but I did not mean to give you such an impression.
I have already built a rapport with the Comtesse, some may even say in a flirtatious manner. Perhaps if I continue to charm her, she will reveal the information I require. So we gotta get her to get her guard down. Flatter her, which is charming.
Ever the charmer, detective. I would talk more on it, but I'm afraid Cassandra would think I am talking about her behind her back.
I mean, technically, just sharing a few details is not necessarily talking about her behind her back. The Comtesse has something more to say, but she still holds back. Something tells me it's more to do with receiving attention. Perhaps I can use that to my advantage. How are you gonna get somebody to talk about that? Maybe coerce them?
It is not often I am swayed so easily. I applaud you on your willingness and persistence. From day one, I was wary of his intentions. And it was not long before he showed his true colors. If it is a tear she sheds, It should be one of joy that he is out of her life.
I understand your feelings towards the Major, but perhaps there was...
He was a bully. He took his shortcomings out on her, and she sat there and accepted it. I never thought I would see the day. Perhaps now she will be able to see the man he truly was. Karma will always catch up to you.
Oh, she's actually not wrong about that. And I myself also have a thing against abusive men. Like, just because you are having a bad day or something does not go your way does not give you the right to take it out on your partner. Ouch. But seriously, it doesn't give you the right. It really doesn't.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Alright. That was Margot. So...
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
perhaps Ernesto has hidden his secret love well. We can use this to our advantage. We need to talk to Ernesto, but we still need to talk to Gideon. So, Gideon, you got something for me. I know you do.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
I'd like to talk more about your brother.
I believe there are more important matters at hand than talking about my brother and I's relationship, or lack thereof.
The murderer is in his house, and by holding back information that may help my investigation, you only make me suspicious of your involvement. Monsieur Demir, if you continue to withhold information, I can only assume you are hiding something, and must treat you as a prime suspect in the Major's murder.
You don't want that.
I have nothing to hide. If you must know, we have not been on the best terms for years now. As I said, we are different people. He does not see the importance of planning for the future, and as much as my parents tried, we could not make him see that. I suppose that is why he sees me as their favorite.
He still believes that now?
I assume so. We barely talk anymore. I was hoping we would be able to sit down and talk and leave the past behind. But this evening has not panned out that way.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Oof. Just oof. But, I mean... it's kind of understandable.
Magnifique.
Zechariah resents Gideon, and Gideon feels detached from Zechariah. But Zechariah is still willing to, like, withhold some details to protect his brother. The brothers are suspicious individually, but I cannot see them working together. Even though they both have a motive.
More questions? I suppose so.
Apologies for the insistent questions on the subject, but you and Madame Von de Bush...
Mademoiselle Conrad was quick to talk of your hidden feelings towards her. Perhaps only hidden to Madame Van den Bosch herself.
What has this got to do with the Major's death? Does Cassandra know you have spoken to others about this? I have only tried to help her.
I'm merely asking the question. There is no reason to panic. It would greatly help me if you could answer honestly.
There may be some feelings there, but Madame Van den Bosch does not know of them, and I trust that it will remain that way.
Merci for your cooperation.
Alright. I have my own opinion of the Major, one that is wiser kept to myself, but I did not expect so many like-minded thinkers. I should think further on what I have heard in my quarters. Alright. There's that, and now we speak with Archie. Archie! Archibald!
My time with the guests is complete. For tonight, at least.
Do you know who killed Major Hagen?
I am afraid it is not as simple as that. There are many steps that lead to the truth. I must think on everything I have heard this evening and dissect the truths from the lies. Merci for your assistance this evening. Au revoir.
I came here expecting to solve a case of blackmail to relieve a family of a burden that has weighed upon them and overshadowed a joyous celebration. Not solve a murder. I have never been to an engagement celebration where a death has taken center stage before. Although the guest alibis confirm each other's, I still cannot rule out the possibility of one of them being involved in the Major's death. The relationships between some of the guests and the Major were more than rocky. Dislike towards him was plentiful, but enough to drive someone to murder? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. This is now the perfect opportunity to think about everything I've heard today. And we have a new mind map. I have all the information I need. I must now compile it together and find the most probable killer. So, Hugo, Ernesto, and Jackie can confirm each other's alibis. Gideon, Zachariah, and Margot can confirm all theirs. We've already ruled that the brothers are unlikely to cooperate with each other, simply because of past disputes. Also, the fact that Zachariah resents Gideon, while Gideon just feels detached from Zachariah. Ah.
Magnifique.
The letter she sent protecting Cassandra was threatening indeed, and Jackie seems unable to determine her secret. So what's Margot's motive? Protection?
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
When I first overheard the conversation, it seemed Hugo was trying to get Jackie to listen. So Jackie was pushing for dirt on the Major. Let's see, there's 3 more links here. There's still something regarding the Major that he is withholding. Does Gideon have something to hide? I wonder... No, no, no.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Blinded by both love and greed, he may have struck down his opposition. Ernesto might have done it out of jealousy. Two more links. Gideon was also trying to start negotiations, and that's why he invited Hugo.
This will
No.
not get me any closer to my goal.
Blech.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
His history with the Major combined with threats to his well-being definitely show intent. So Gideon's motive could be retribution. So what's the last one?
grey cells.
Oh.
We must think logically.
Okay, so it has to be something that I'm missing. We know Hugo lied about his temper. He was invited by Gideon. So...
Order and method.
No.
That is the way to solve the problem.
Oh, of course not. We also have Ernesto fronting money for the house. The major was involved in the worker strikes. On now. Zachariah's conflicting attitude. Does that have anything to do with
Come, my little
Margot?
grey cells. We must think logically.
No. Of course it don't. Oh.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
All the guests have at least one other guest to confirm their alibis. So all alibis have been confirmed. Who could that be at this time?
Entrez.
Detective, I'm sorry I did not join you in the salon as requested.
Please, mademoiselle. There is no need to apologize.
I was with Maman in her room. She would not allow anyone to see it, but I could see she was terribly upset.
Most understandable.
Do you have any suspicions as to who could have killed him?
I'm afraid my suspicions extended across all of the party's guests. While it seems as though their alibis all corroborate one another's, the disdain and hostility towards the Major makes them rife with motive.
I know there was some bad blood between the Major and some of the guests, but not enough to kill him, surely. She may seem tough on the exterior, but she's really quite kind when you get to know her.
The Countess? She is a formidable force I would not want to come up against.
Don't be silly, Detective. She wouldn't hurt a soul. Jacqueline, I mean.
Mademoiselle Conrad, she was in fact the least suspicious until now.
I assume that's who you were talking about, Detective, after what happened between them.
That is a story I have yet to hear.
She must have told you about the piece she was writing on us, about Gideon's work and our marriage.
No, she did not.
Somehow, that was the only thing she did not mention.
That's strange. I thought that is what she would have started the conversation with. Well, she had come to the house to interview me, and when I entered the library, she was there with Felix amid a rather heated conversation.
Do you know what this conversation regarded?
I'm afraid not, but Felix was quite enraged. He picked up an envelope from the table and stormed out, slamming the door behind him.
And Mademoiselle Conrad?
She was equally heated in the moment. She had a few choice words for him that I wouldn't care to repeat.
I wouldn't blame her.
Better, thank you, Detective. She's resting in her room. It is the best place for her.
And you, mademoiselle?
I'm not quite sure. It is a rather surreal feeling. I did not think I would miss him like I do.
It is understandable. He has been a close friend to your maman for many years.
And to me, Detective. We had grown close. After Father's passing, he was always there for me. And now, he's gone as well.
You must try and not think on it like that.
It is easier said than done, Detective.
I have no doubt, but you can be assured the culprit will not remain at large for long. You have my word.
If you were in my position, mademoiselle, who would be at the top of your suspect list?
I'm sorry, but I just can't imagine any of them committing such a heinous crime.
It can often be hard to look past one's personal feelings for someone and see their flaws.
It's not that, Detective. It's just they have known each other for years. Why would any of them act now?
I was under the impression the Major had merely a business relationship with some of the guests.
That's true. But those invited know each other. Some of them for years. They may not seem like it, but some are even friends. I should return to my room now, Detective. It has been a trying day for us all.
Oui, mademoiselle. I am afraid tomorrow may bear a resemblance, but I will not stop until I have found his killer.
I am certainly glad you are here, Detective.
When and where a detective is required, that is where I shall be. Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle has left me with an interesting thought, one I had not considered until now. Well, at first glance, the guests do not appear to show much fondness for each other. Mademoiselle is quite sure that is not the case. Perhaps I must consider looking at the guests together and not individually. Now we have to reach a conclusion from what we have learned so far. So we know Jackie bumped heads with the Major, and the guests have known each other for years.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the evidence in front of me.
No?
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth.
No. So...
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse.
I swear it's gonna show it and I'm gonna feel super stupid afterwards. Oh.
What a revelation!
I doubted Jackie's involvement with the murder, but now I am dubious of her innocence.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
I now have all the motives from the guest who is under suspicion.
I should not be surprised by
There
my
we
own
go.
skills of deduction.
I do not know who I can trust or whose stories I can believe. Are the guests innocent? So all the guests are suspicious because they have known each other for years.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
I now doubt how trustworthy the stories may be. They may well be covering for each other. There is no physical way one of the guests could have killed the Major and returned to the party unless that is where I am mistaken. It is not one guilty party I should be looking for, rather multiple. Alright. So that's it of that. How could I have not considered the Major's death was part of a ploy created and executed by more than only one of the guests? It came almost as an epiphany following Mademoiselle Angeline's remark about the guest's shared past. Perhaps Mademoiselle will become the trusted ally that I now sense may be essential to catching the guilty parties. Tonight's questioning was only the beginning. I will allow my suspects to sleep on their stories, and we will see how they fare tomorrow. Perhaps one of those involved will have morals enough to show a glimmer of regret. Considering they may be working together, I cannot be sure who has told the truth and who has attempted to sell me down the floor. I guess that's how you pronounce it? I don't know. I'm not really that good with French. Perhaps I should sleep on the matter. A good night's sleep will surely bring a new dawn of thinking, and what a better setting to do so than in the peaceful falling blanket of snow that surrounds us all. Although it seems not everyone has the same idea. Who's that down there? Chapter 5. The Secret. And that, just like that, we are halfway through this playthrough. Oh, a restless sleep combined with the image of the eerie figure in the snow has only convoluted what my little gray cells must consider. I should not have expected this to be a simple case. I have been lied to by at least one of the suspect or one of the guests. Their alibis all confirm each other's, but I know this is not to be true. How the Major was involved with the blackmail eludes me for now. Once I have confirmed whether he was the author or recipient, I can consider my next step in my investigation. Alright. Well, with us hitting Chapter 5, that means that we are halfway through this game. Ugh. So close to finishing it. This is one of the games that I really do enjoy, like a lot. And that just, again, it really gets you thinking. It's not as simple as the London case, but it's still a good introduction into the series itself. Which again, I do hope Mike Royds decides to continue the stories, even taking inspiration from like some of the other stories by Agatha Christie that we all know and love. But without further ado, this is going to be the end of that, and I will catch y'all later. So, oh, before I do, please do leave a like and subscribe. It feeds my cat. Please. But anywho, I will catch y'all later. So, later. Bye. Mwah!